Hey you guys, so today I am going to be going through what I picked up at the Sephora VIB sale. I'm also going to quickly go over my thoughts on some random PR that just showed up at my house from somebody that I've never given my address to, just to toss it in there for shits. Before we jump into the video, get ready for my classic YouTuber intro. My best friend and I created a podcast. The podcast is called Approachable. The whole kind of thought process behind it was that it would be a platform for us to discuss things that maybe people don't talk about enough, in our opinion, and also just to be a place where, you know, for me especially, I can discuss things that I maybe don't get the chance to discuss as much on this platform. So if you want to check it out, we would both appreciate it so much. I will leave the links for iTunes and Spotify and all that good stuff in the description box. And to those of you that have already listened and written me, thank you so much. We honestly just, we're ecstatic. We're so happy. It's been such a fun thing to do and such a cathartic experience. So just thanks, man. Okay, let's talk about sex, baby. No, let's talk about makeup. Okay, I'm just gonna quickly gloss over this PR package that showed up at my door. As you guys know, I no longer accept PR. There's still been like 1 or 2 packages that filter in here and there throughout the month, but for the most part, like it's ceased. But the other day there was this massive package at my front door, and it was the launch from Patrick Ta. Thank you to him and his team, but also, how did you get my address? So anyways, I thought I would give it a shot. His launch was kind of unique in that it was something a little bit different to start with than what I feel like most people start with, because a lot of brands, when they first are kind of coming up, they do like, you know, the eyeshadow palette, like a lipstick or 2 or whatever kind of thing. And so his launch was body oil, a spray-on highlight, and then glosses. So I've given all of them a quick try. I'm just gonna quickly walk you through my thoughts on each of those. So the first thing we have is the Major Glow Body Oil. We have the lighter one here, which is called a Dream. It has kind of like goldy reflex to it. And then the darker one, which is called a Moment. I'm gonna swatch them side by side so you guys can actually see them. So that is the lighter one on this side, and then this is the darker one. It's kind of nice because they both have quite a bit of translucency to them, so I do think that like no matter your skin tone, you could kind of use either or depending on what kind of look you were going for. I've tried both of them like on my legs and arms, and the lighter one definitely gives you more of like a like fashion photo shoot, like super glow kind of thing. And then the darker one is really, really nice for adding like just the like tiniest little bit of bronze, and just looks super summery, really nice and glowy. The packaging is absolutely stunning. I have to just give that a real quick shout out because I'm such a sucker for packaging. It's super heavy, very like minimalist and just really pretty, classy. I have to start this by saying I'm not a fan of body oils. I don't like the feeling normally of body oils on my skin. I just feel like it's annoying to wear. A lot of them are really tacky, and like it's just, you're constantly conscious of the fact that you're wearing a body oil. That said, I actually quite like this product. I don't feel like it's something I actually would have ever purchased myself, just given how I feel about body oils. But I'm glad that I did try it because I feel like you're able to apply enough so that it's definitely like showing up and giving you a different appearance, but it does sort of sink into the skin a little bit more. It's not super tacky. It doesn't feel as uncomfortable. It kind of feels more like a moisturizer almost, like you just moisturize your legs rather than feeling like tacky or anything like that. So I actually really, really like the texture of it once it's on, and it gives a really pretty appearance. I don't know that it's something that I personally would use all the time because it is like very sparkly, but you know, if I'm trying to be an extra kind of bitch, I might bust it out. Then we have the lip glosses from him. So there's 3 different shades. The first one, you may or may not be able to kind of pick that up on camera, but that one is called Is She Younger Than Me? It's just a pretty clear gloss with a little bit of a kind of pink glitter to it. Then we have She's an Influencer, which has a little bit more of like a really light nude tint to it. And then it has pink, gold, and blue sparkles. And then on the end there, we have She's Expensive, which is almost like completely clear. And then it just has some kind of like champagne and a little bit of iridescent reflex. These glosses, I don't like at all. I've seen a lot of people wearing them on Instagram and stuff like that, and whenever I see like glittery glosses like that on other people, I'm always like, oh, that's so perfect, and that would look so nice on me too. And then I put it on and I'm like, oh no, it looks like the 90s reincarnate on my lips. So the color that I was most drawn to was She's an Influencer, because it's so fitting. It looked like the most nude, that's why. I don't know, maybe I'm like crazy. Maybe you guys won't think this looks bad. I don't know why I don't like this. I just feel like it looks so frosty on me for some reason, and it's just not doing it for me. The glitter is actually very visible when you look at it up close, which is kind of neat in a way, and I will say that you don't actually feel the glitter, which is not common in my opinion. A lot of glosses that do have that glitter to them, when you kind of like rub your lips together, it sort of feels like a little bit sandy, but I don't really feel the glitter. I don't know. The colors are just not for me. I think that I'd probably like the formula if it was just more of like a sheer color rather than like the glittery situation, because I just don't think, I mean, I don't know. Then the last thing from that line, well, not the last thing, because there's also this fan, which is fun to play with for me. The last thing is the spray on highlight. So this comes in 3 different shades. Let me just swatch them for you. So here we have We Need Her, which is a gold pearl. Ooh, I started spraying that the other way. Then we have Look at Her, which is a white pearl. Then we have at the bottom there, We Love Her, which is a pink pearl. First things first about this highlighter. This has been pointed out in a few other videos, but just so you guys are aware, and I'm offering the disclaimer to you as well, the first ingredient of this is butane. Do with that what you will. When I initially saw these, I was like, oh, that's kind of neat, like that's really different. And then I thought about it and I was like, oh, but hold on a second, how would you do it? And I've watched a lot of reviews on this because I was curious to know like what people's thoughts kind of were. And a lot of people, I think because like they mentioned to use the fan to kind of cover parts that you don't want to highlight. And I watched so many people so awkwardly be like, oh, I can't see where I'm applying this. And it's just, it really is, to me, that packaging is not functional. And I also feel like you end up wasting a lot of product because of the aerosol aspect. So for instance, this is 1.6 ounces and the Hollywood Flawless filter from Charlotte Tilbury is 1 ounce, but I mean, this looks like it's still full, and I've had this for over a year because it just lasts. Like, you can just use so little product, it goes such a long way, and I like slather this on. Whereas with this, like, I've swatched it maybe 3 or 4 times, and I've tried it on my skin like 2 or 3 times, and it feels like significantly lighter in comparison to the other colors that I haven't used. So I just think that this is like such a luxury product in that it's not realistic to kind of use this for your day-to-day highlight. Maybe if it's something that you liked to kind of feel really extra special on certain days, I don't know. Or if you used it for your like body, like your collarbones and stuff like that, like really sparingly. But I just feel like for me, I would burn through this product so quickly. It's $40 Canadian, which is fairly expensive for something that I'm just going to be spraying into the air, because when you're dealing with an aerosol like that, you're getting a ton of overspray. So first of all, it's really hard to get a precise application because most of us don't want highlighter all over our face. We want it in like a very specific location kind of thing. And it does say that like this, what does it say? It says it's designed to fall naturally and seamlessly onto the skin for a light catching glow. I personally feel like it's a little too intense to apply all over one's face. I think maybe on the body for like a photo shoot kind of situation for sure. And I know that's like Patrick Ta's whole sitch is like very glam, you know, like celebrity makeup kind of thing. So I think this is like such a fitting product for him. I just don't necessarily feel like it's a good product for like the day-to-day consumer because of the application issues, because you would likely run through the product so quickly. Sorry guys, I just wanted to say really quickly, I did try applying this by spraying the product directly onto like a beauty blender and stippling it on, and I found that through that method, like I had to put so much more product on than if I had sprayed it on directly to the skin. So if you were using a method that was more precise for application, I feel like you would end up using even more product. But keep in mind, I was using the color that I was having some issues with pigmentation with, which I'll get into in a second. You do have a little bit of time, like let's say that you spray it on and you're able to kind of get a more precise application. You do have a little bit of time where you can kind of buff it out, which is nice, but you do have to be kind of quick with it. The only other thing that I've noticed, I'm partial to the We Need Her color, which is the gold pearl, but I've noticed that the first time I used it, it was like this really intense, beautiful highlight kind of thing, like even just by swatching it. And now it's sort of like, let me show you. So I'm giving her a good shake. I don't know if you guys will be able to see properly or not, but it's almost, it's just like the liquid and not the pigment kind of thing. Whereas like I'll do one of the other ones on my other hand so you can see how intense this used to look. But even with this one, like that's the white pearl. You can see like it's very intense, very, very like metallic looking. So this guy here did originally swatch more like that, where it was very intense. So the product has been inconsistent in that way because it's a really, really beautiful color. Like I love that gold pearl color. And I think he really nailed that shade. Like it's such a perfect highlight color, but it's just inconsistent, and I'm not sure what the issue may be, but I wish that he had come out with the same shades in like a liquid formula, because they're beautiful, but I feel like the application and the inconsistency issues just makes for not the best product in my opinion. Okay, let's move into my VIB purchases. So the first thing I got, this is not a new product, it's just one that I hadn't tried before, I'm pretty sure. So this is the Anastasia Liquid Glow Highlight in the color Perla. You guys know I'm just always on the hunt for something like nice creamy liquid, whatever, bronzers, blush, highlights. I love it so much, and I feel like that color looks really, really, really pretty. Anastasia's powder highlights for me now are a little bit too intense, and they do look quite textured on my skin because I deal with texture and acne and all that kind of stuff. And I wanted to give this one a go because when I swatched it, I was like, ooh yeah, that could be really pretty on my little skin. The formula of that one is quite nice. It blends out really, really well. It sits nicely on the skin. It doesn't look like thick or cakey or anything like that. I feel like it did wear well, and it wasn't something where it continued to feel like sticky or tacky or anything like that, which I know some people are really iffy about. So all in all, I do really like this product so far. I think, you know, I think I'm gonna get some good use out of it. Ugh, I wasn't going to buy this. I have literally like a drawer full of blushes, and like powder blushes, and I use 3 of those. So I have a bunch of blushes just sitting there, and I knew that this was a silly purchase, but I couldn't contain myself because everyone was posting about it on Instagram and I was getting really, really upset. The new Cover FX things. Cover FX Monochromatic Blush Duo Matte and Shimmer and the Monochromatic Bronzer Duo Matte and Shimmer. This packaging to me is magnifique. I like that this looks like an old Apple computer kind of to me. Like it looks like an old school, like just that creamy beige color. I don't know, it just reminds me of like a really old like 90s computer. Anyways, God, I'm such a sucker really. So I got the blush in the shade Soft Peach. So that is the matte and that is the shimmer over there. I really, really, really like the concept of this because I prefer to have a little bit of a glow to my blushes, and I definitely don't mean glitter or like texture by any means, but just enough kind of reflect to it that it gives you a really nice soft kind of sheen. And I think this is nice because you can have, you know, the matte blush if you feel like you're going for more of that look. You can kind of pair them together if you want, because it's also really nice to apply the blush and then apply this almost as like a highlight situation. It just gives you a really, really pretty, like soft, diffused look to your skin. So I really, really like the concept of this because you can kind of tailor your blush application to be more matte if you want that, more shimmery if you want that, rather than just having to have one shade and you can't control, you know, if you might want it to look a little bit less shiny that day or whatever. I like this guy so far. And then I also got the bronzer in Sun-Kissed Bronze, so I'll give that a little swatch for you guys as well. So that is the matte over here, and then this is the shimmer shade. I don't know how to feel about this one. I think it's more of a color issue than anything, and I wish I had been in store to try them out, but they weren't available yet at my Sephora. So I had to order online. I feel like the matte one, I don't know, there's just something about it. It pulls a little red on me, so I'm not loving the matte color. The formula I do actually like. This is a pretty heavily applied swatch, and it still has quite a bit of translucency to it. It doesn't look like I just rubbed like a brown eyeshadow on my hand. And some bronzers are really like that. They're so pigmented, and for me, I like something that has that sheerness to it in a powder because you can build it up. It looks so much more natural. I do really like the shimmery one. I feel like it does make it appear a little bit lighter, and it doesn't pull quite as red on me. So I've been using that shimmery one, just kind of like, I'll put my like contour and stuff like that on, and then I'll just like sweep that shimmery shade kind of like all over this area. So good at explaining things. And it just is like such a beautiful, like bronzy kind of glowy look. And it's not too much. The same thing with the blush. They're not like this really, really intense shine. Like when you look at it in the packaging, it kind of looks like it's going to be like a straight up highlight. Not at all. It's a really pretty sheen. There's no like chunky glitter to it. Just a really like healthy looking kind of glow. So I'm really digging these as well, aside from the matte shade in the bronzer one, which it's not vibing with my tones, you know? This one I went back and forth on because I do have a lot of the I have all the stick blushes from Nude Sticks, and I was like, okay, I don't need another stick blush from Nude Sticks. I gotta like rein myself in here. I think what we're learning over the course of this video is that I have zero willpower. So they came out with our Nudies Bloom, which is just kind of like a range of blushes. Very springy colors kind of thing. They're super beautiful. And I actually grabbed this one in Sephora, and listen, it's not uncommon for there to be like 2 or 3 Sephora orders a week, okay? I'm replacing the hole in my heart that PR once filled with shopping excursions. I don't know what to say. I wasn't gonna pick this one up. I looked at it in store, and then I picked up the packaging, I looked at it, and I was like, no, and I put it down, and then right before I put it down, it was like the word dewy caught my eye on the packaging, and I was like, oh, I'll take 3. But this is the shade Sweet Peach Peony. Chef's kiss, chef's kiss, chef's kiss. So good. I'm wearing it right now very sparingly. I just applied it with a little brush. Gorgeous, like just such a pretty glow. This again is quite a heavy swatch, but you can really kind of buff it out to be quite sheer. I love that you have that control over it because it's not something where you apply it and you have to blend it out really quickly because it has that kind of gloss and dewiness to it. The dew does stay on this one. It's not super tacky by any means. It's maybe a little tiny bit tacky. I find it comfortable to wear, like I don't have a problem with it, but it does stay kind of like glossy and glowy and stuff like that, which for me is an A++ across the board. It's stunning, like probably one of my favorite, well, yeah, maybe one of my favorite purchases. The next thing I picked up was the Milk Kush Balm in the color Canna Tonic. I wasn't going to get this because I smelled their original balm and it smelled very minty, and I just am not a mint kind of person. Like that actually will deter me from buying a product. But I saw someone swatch this and I was like, maybe I do like mint. Maybe mint is actually my passion. The smell of mint immediately gives me like a tummy ache, like it makes my stomach turn. It's so weird. It's not overly minty. The smell does dissipate fairly quickly, and it doesn't have like a minty feeling either, which is nice because I don't like that minty feeling. Just a hater. I'm a hater on the mint situations. I don't know what to say. Very comfortable on the lips, really, really smooth. It does feel hydrating. The only thing is that I do notice like within like even like an hour or 2, I want to reapply because it does kind of dry a little bit almost. I don't know how to explain it. It's not like it dries down. It's just like I don't know. It's almost like your lips absorb the moisture and then you're just left with this kind of color and it's weird. So that's the only thing. I mean, it's not super pigmented, so it's easy to reapply when you're out and stuff like that. You don't have to worry about like it being this like grand touch up. I really like the color. I really like the sheerness to it and the texture and the feeling. It's just, I wish that it was just a touch more long wearing and didn't dry down the way that it does, because I'm fine if the product just almost comes like right off and you're just kind of left with like your bare looking lips. But this one does, it's different. Like it's different the way that it kind of leaves that color behind. So that is not my favorite, but otherwise I like it, and I wish that they'd make it smell like vanilla or something, I don't know. The next thing I picked up, you guys are gonna be like, Sam, for the love of God, how many things do you need that look like there's nothing on? The limit does not exist. How dare you? This was a product that I actually did own previously, and I really, really liked it. I can't find it. I'm not sure if I lost it or if I like accidentally decluttered it and I thought, I don't know what happened. But this was a repurchase actually for me. This is the Urban Decay Walk of Shame lipstick. There's literally no point in me swatching this for you. It's like a gloss in a stick form. It has a very, 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 very light tint to it. Like you can kind of see on my bottom lip there, it looks a little bit more pale. Here's why I love this. I really, really like to apply this as almost like a primer for my lips, or like a base. It has a little bit of that paleness to it, so it will kind of dull the color that I put over top, but it also has that kind of, it's not like a full-on gloss, it's more of like a balmy texture, so it does kind of add that to, you know, lipsticks that might be a little bit drier looking and stuff like that. So I really like pairing it with other shades. So I'll put this one on first, and then over top of that, I'm gonna apply my next purchase, which is the Nude Sticks Lip Glaze in shade 2. I quite like this guy just before I apply it over top. I'll show you guys like what a full swatch looks like without, you know, like applying it over top. These ones, the swatches online were really odd. Like the colors looked so much deeper and like rosier than they actually are in person. This formula is quite sticky, noticeably sticky. I don't mind that personally, because I do feel like the stickier gloss formulas usually last quite a bit longer. I mean, would I wear it on a windy day? Absolutely not. Like your hair just full on is like, what's up? And like, it's there, it's there. But other than that, I quite like it. So I like to apply that right over top of that Walk of Shame color, just because it does dull down the shade a little bit, so it's a little bit more kind of pale, but also because it's mixing with that kind of more balmy formula with the Urban Decay lipstick, it does detract from that sticky finish of the Nude Sticks gloss. Listen, there's not a lipstick in the world that I do not like. This is probably a stretch. There's not any lipstick that I've tried yet that I don't like mixed with Walk of Shame. I just feel like it's such a good mixing color. Frankly, it's going to become a staple in my day-to-day application. Loving every second of it. The Nude Sticks one, really liking as well. I think it's a really, really pretty color. They're all kind of like sort of pinky nude situations. That guy I definitely do recommend trying to pick up in store if you are going to grab one, just because the swatches online are kind of janky. My last two purchases I haven't tried yet, but I'm just gonna let you guys know what I picked up just for shits. The Marc Jacobs Omega Glaze highlight I picked up as well, which is a big old powder highlight. The formula feels super, super soft. It's kind of like a soft gold kind of glow. It looks almost identical to the shade of the cream highlight, the original cream highlight, but I really like the texture just like from swatching it. So I'll try it on my skin. I'll let you guys know my thoughts in another video, I'm sure. I like that it almost looks wet and it's kind of more of a sheen, like I was talking about with the Cover FX things. It's not chunky, it's not glittery looking, so I'm really hopeful that it's going to apply really smoothly and not add a ton of like texture or anything like that to my skin. So that's why I grabbed that one. And then this last one, there is no thought process that went into this. I have no excuses to offer. I don't know why I am the way that I am. I picked up the Summer Fridays jet lag mask. I don't know, I've heard so many people rave about it. It seems like a lotion. Like, it doesn't seem like there's anything particularly unique about it. I haven't given it I mean, why am I even showing you this? I don't know. I haven't given it like an actual shot yet. I guess I'll keep you guys updated on that one. This was literally just me being like, oh yeah, everyone talks about that, I'll grab that. Anyways, you guys, those are all of my Sephora VIB purchases, as well as the mysterious Patrick Ta PR that just arrived upon my abode doorstep. I'd love to know what you guys ended up picking up, if you picked up any of my recommendations for my favorites video. I want to know your thoughts, and hopefully I didn't lead you astray, I don't know. So that's all from me on this one. Once again, if you are a podcast type of person, or maybe if you're not even a podcast type of person, you just want to give it a shot, you want to dip your toes in and try something new, definitely go check out the podcast. I'll leave the links in the description box like I mentioned. I will see you guys next time. Peace out.